Hello everybody and welcome to The Park. I am your host Paul Rodriguez and this is my personal audio log recorded content. And if you're listening to this week's podcast, you should know what my big announcement was last week. And if you didn't, then you should go watch it because my friend Agnes Gabo is on it as well. She's an amazing person, so you should go get to know her on that episode. Or, hit her up because, if you know her, we could all use a friend. But anyways, getting into this episode, I kind of wanted to follow up and talk more about last week's episode and more importantly, my up and coming trip to Tanzania. And so this was one of my biggest announcements that I was planning for myself. So just to reiterate, I really wanted to experience serving in another part of the world. I thought volunteering abroad would definitely expand my mind, not only for myself, but also so I could share my experiences here with the culture over there. And I'm really excited to be hosted by the locals there. And I really hope to get to know them and, get to understand and gain a second-hand experience from what it's like to have grown up there and how it's like to also host more volunteers like us abroad. And I'm not going to make any promises right now, but I do wish to get to record an episode with them, maybe the host or any of the locals or even perhaps another volunteer, just so that I have my own little souvenir that I can bring back so I can also share with you guys. And I'll be honest with you, this decision to go to Africa was very spontaneous. I guess I was just sitting at work one day and I realized that I still haven't used my 2 weeks vacation from when I first started in February. So I wanted to look for volunteer opportunities online, and I think the most flexible one that I found was from Projects Abroad. So I instantly applied and I got accepted and talked with a volunteer advisor, and we worked out flights and the itinerary, talked about the expectations I had of volunteering, etc. And I'm also going to be taking a couple of Swahili classes while I'm there so that I could learn some of the local language and hopefully make it easier on the host to talk and, converse with. And right now, the only phrase that I know in Swahili is Hakuna Matata, which is definitely what I'm feeling as of right now. And so with that, I was finished with my part, and now the advisors are, making arrangements, and now all I had to do was wait a few months, and now the trip is less than a month away. I really can't hold in how excited I am about this trip, considering I've had this planned out since early August and told absolutely nobody about it. Not even my closest friends or my family, but I kind of gave up about a month into that because I was just so excited to just share the news that I'm going to Africa. I'm going to Africa. So yeah, I broke after the first month, and I mean with Agnes, it was easy keeping it from her because she was gone until October. But as of right now, I still kind of refrain from talking about it though, because I still want it to be a surprise for my friends and my family. So basically, if you're a listener of this podcast, you know the most about my trip right now. So thank you guys for being one of my closest friends. These are most of the details because I hardly know most of the details as well. And anyways, I'm just really excited and nervous at the same time about going to another country, especially by myself. But I've always wanted to do this, and I always had that kind of wanderlust, and I always wanted to go to Africa, see the Serengeti, perhaps, hike Kilimanjaro. But I'm not gonna make that the big goal when I get there, to do all those things, because I actually want to focus more on interacting with the locals. And talking to people around the area, as well as interacting with other volunteers that are there. And as for volunteering, though, the work that I'll be doing will mainly be a lot of physical building houses, schools. I have yet to get a full itinerary, but that's the gist of it. I really enjoy the act of giving back to others out of our own kindness. I feel like, this will really test my character. My personality will definitely be put to the test, because I am very, very conditioned to this environment in Canada where we have everything at our fingertips. And, we can all get our luxuries so easily. Then there's me going to this developing country where there isn't clean water and the weather is uncomfortable, and oh my goodness, I'm already complaining. But yeah, that's the point, that I want to be brought out of my comfort zone and put into a place where my personality can really be tested. And I want to experience hardships that I've never really experienced before in my life. But the big difference from me and the locals there is that I get to go back home. There will not be a day where I won't miss home, for sure. But for the people there, that's all they have. Because for me, if I'm not happy with what I have, I can just get something new. Say, maybe even if I'm tired and I need coffee, I could just go for a Starbucks run. Not that I even really drink Starbucks. I haven't had it in a few years. But with them, that's their home. And probably nobody there knows what it's like outside of that place, aside from what volunteers like me would probably tell them about Canada or America or other parts of Asia. The point that I'm trying to make here is that I personally have taken everything for granted, and I realize that. I realize that isn't the mindset that I should be having. I should always be grateful. I should be grateful for the roof over my head. I should be grateful for the friends and the family that love me. And most of all, to be grateful to have the privilege of living in such an amazing country such as Canada. It's something tough to really think about, because like me, I complain about my Wi-Fi being slow when the country that I'm going to doesn't even have easily accessible internet. Speaking of which, I have yet to decide taking a break with the podcast while I'm in Africa, or maybe recording some episodes in advance and having them scheduled to release on time. Still thinking about it. Don't hold it against me. But anyways, it's still crazy to me that I am finally going to visit Africa in a few weeks. I'll definitely be updating about it as much as I can in the episodes in January. I'm on the lookout for some more guests on this podcast as well. So if you'd like to be my friend, hit me up. Let's have a conversation. This is about all the information I can really give you guys about my trip without, going on over the verge of you guys stalking me. I'm very neurotic about that. It's a very creepy thing. Please don't dox me. But yeah, anyways, other new things that I have going on in my life. School is almost over. You got 2 more weeks of that. It's the final rush to kind of get everything done. Final projects, and they need to start coming together. Quizzes need to be done, and I'm kind of stressed out about work because there's a lot of projects due in the next couple weeks before I should be leaving. And other than that, I still appreciate everybody listening to this podcast, and to the new ones as well. You're not obligated to check out the rest of my episodes, but feel free to use them to your listening disposal. But anyways, tune in next week. Subscribe if you haven't already. You're not obligated to. It's entirely your choice. Have a good day, good night, wherever you are. Thank you all for visiting the park.